$1 billion of liquidations, longs getting destroyed within 30 minutes of yesterday's tiny dip. Now, why do I say it's tiny and that I'm just making light of this? I am making in light of this because from the highs of $124,000 down to $112,000, we're at 9.5% down. This is ridiculous. Like it's comical at this point that anybody is bearish at this point. It blows my mind. It makes me wonder like how these people would have done during the 2017-2018 bull market or the 2013-14 bull market. Like they just wouldn't have survived. All right, this is pathetic. We are under 10% down in Bitcoin. Okay, so if you're in alts or whatever, yes, you probably got smacked as well, a lot more, but that's normal, okay? Now, check this out. So within 24 hours, the liquidations were 1.62 billion. The total liquidations over the past 24 hours were $1.7 billion. Now, this is the largest long liquidation since December of 2024. So what's happening right now is people betting the price is gonna go up. They're leveraging, they're borrowing money which they don't have to bet that the price is gonna go up. These are mostly compulsive gamblers. They need help, as I said yesterday in yesterday's video. They need to go see somebody about their issues, okay? Now, we also have $100 billion lost in the crypto market since the Fed rate cut. So this is something I'm going to talk about. Are rate cuts actually good for the market? And if you've been following our channel since the beginning, you know that I don't really care about rate cuts because since we bottomed, so this is what 99% of these YouTubers out there don't tell you, is that when we bottomed back in November of 2022, we had 5 consecutive rate hikes at the bottom, bringing us, we skyrocketed off the bottom, okay? That was when everybody was calling for $10,000 Bitcoin. You had Richard Hart, you know, all these other guys calling for $10,000 Bitcoin. And I'm sticking my neck out going, guys, I'm buying Bitcoin right now. I think this is the bottom. There's no way we're gonna go to $10,000. And people learningcrypto.com, you're welcome. If you bought our trade alerts back then, you killed it, absolutely killed it. Okay, so with that said, I said this yesterday on Twitter, Sir Crypto Tips. Didn't someone say that lower interest rates would make Bitcoin go up? Exactly. I'm just trolling people because at this point it's too easy, all right? If you understand what's happening with the Federal Reserve and debt monetization right now, they're buying their own debt. Okay, so that nobody wants US debt anymore. Okay, so the countries around the world, the biggest holders of US debt, I think, is Japan, China. They're buying gold instead of buying US debt. So what does the US government need to do? They need to print money, or print currency, sorry, currency is not money. And so they need to buy their own debt, and that's what you call debt monetization. That is the end of a currency. That is the end of an empire. That's what I've said yesterday and many times before, and you guys know it. That doesn't mean that the US dollar is gonna go down to absolute zero because they're coming out with stable coins. That is going to take the place of the US dollar. Mark my words, I can promise you that one. Okay, so now 39 days left till the Fed cuts another 25 basis points. October, woohoo, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna experience what? I mean, is this going to be as bullish as the last rate cut where we're down, what, 3%, 4%, and it's gonna cause pandemonium in the crypto space? Who knows? It's at this point, I don't care about short-term noise. I'm looking at the future, the long-term aspect of crypto and why crypto has been going up, why Bitcoin specifically has risen from under a cent to $124,000, okay? That's ridiculous, but there's a reason why that. It's because of inflation. They're printing so much currency. And I say this all the time, you need to nail this in your head. They're printing more currency than you could even imagine right now. So here's a Goldman trader saying this. There's a sense that money is losing value anyway, so best to use it now than hold it. So essentially what he's saying is that people need to invest in riskier assets to go ahead and to keep up with inflation because that's literally the only way out. because inflation is not the 2.18% that these stupid people at the US government say. No, 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 no. It's way higher than 2.18%. I think anybody with a brain knows this, especially my followers. You all have a brain. Pretty sure about that. So yeah, you would know that inflation, you just walk outside the door, you can see that inflation is not 1 or 2.18%. This is so stupid that they even say that. Now here's Bob Lucas talking about the stock market here. My only concern short term, so this is not long term, is that stocks are on a really stretched cycle uptrend. Very few cycles historically have gone this far without a mini 4 to 6 week reset. And he said this before the interest rate drop, okay, the 25 basis points. Okay, so, but then you could argue that Bitcoin did its 4 to 6 weeks reset already. They don't have to be that correlated. Well, they essentially are kind of correlated right now. Here's the thing, it doesn't matter. 4 to 6 weeks, who cares? We are still under 10% from all-time highs. Okay, there's nothing to worry about. This is simply a blip in the radar, guys. Now check this out. Here's some more bullish news here. US dollar 14-year support hanging on by a thread. Look at that. Look at this chart right here. This is telling. Okay, yes, interest rates will devalue the dollar, but not as much as the Fed is printing currency. So the Fed is essentially printing about $1 trillion every 80 something days right now. And that 80 days is going to be lowered every single year because the more they print, the more they have to print. I don't think a lot of people understand that. This is economics 101. This is how the dollar was created back in 1913. The more it's created, the more they need to create. Just to pay off the interest alone is going to be ridiculous. Okay, so most people don't know that every time a dollar is printed, there's interest attached to that dollar. So how do you pay off that interest? You got to print another dollar. That's how it works, all right? You're not going to learn that in school. And that is why we are invested in Bitcoin. That is why Heidi and I started this channel, so we can educate you on how to protect your future of your family and your friends that don't understand economics at all. They don't understand money, and they work for a piece of paper that's continually losing its value, and they don't know where to put that piece of paper, and they're just literally, their savings are dwindling away. So if you do want to understand a little bit more and you want to see what we're buying when we're selling, when we're going to buy the bear market, check out learningcrypto.com. There's so much good information in there. It's ridiculous. So talk to you guys soon.